Hello! Welcome! I know it's been a minute. It's been longer than a minute. But thank you so much for tuning in, checking in, and hanging out with me for Mari's Golden Hour. Thank you for hanging out. This is an anniversary episode, and I thought I would make some sort of big splashy to-do with it, but no, I'm just going to pick up where I left off. So I do apologize that there's been a bit of an absence with me and podcasting. Things had happened, and maybe that is or isn't an excuse, but no, it's not an excuse. It's just what happened. Life happened, and I happened. But yeah, in all honesty and full disclosure, I was feeling really off. I was low, I was sad, angry, I was overextended, overwhelmed, and I needed a break. I didn't know I needed one, but it just happened. Actually, a break was kind of forced on me. Then when that forced break happened, I was thinking, man, I need a break. But even with the break from the podcast, I didn't have a break from life. Nobody really has that, I guess, until the very, very end. But yeah, I was burning the candle at both ends, and I wasn't sleeping, and it was just a lot going on. But anyway, that's what happened. I don't want this to be like any sort of a downer episode, but yeah. And I missed doing this, and I wanted to do it, but I just, if you're like super, super, super duper funky, I don't know, I can't, whenever I'm in that sort of like state of mind, I don't want to pass my funk on to anybody else. So I kind of wanted to contain the funk. And this isn't like the P-funk. No. This is like the funk that's like the goo funk. And not fun goo. Or fungi. But, let's see. What else has been going on? Well, and the other thing too. I don't know what happened, but somehow a lot of the interesting tidbits and articles and stories that I had saved up, they all got erased. Like tabs that I had that they were like little ideas that I wanted to bring about and share, everything got erased. And so that just kind of like, it was one of the many balloons that got popped that just really took the wind out of my sails. And I thought, you know what, I guess I don't need to do this right now. And what else? Yeah, there's, I don't know about you, but the month of April was just something, I don't know if it's with things slowly reopening, or it's just, I don't know, there was some sort of a weird turnaround that was going on during the month, and I don't know. Well, this month is all going to be about a turnaround, but a turnaround for the better. That is what my goal for this month is all about. And it may be slow, but it is happening. And honestly, it's happening today, which a year ago today is the reason why I started this podcast, is to just help me through some things. And I felt like if I could share the highs and the lows and the mediums and the so-sos, it would just help me work through some things. So sort of coming around full circle and just continuing on with that circle. So let's see, April, I had a gig at the beginning of the month that it involved testing, because I had to be on set. And I remember when I left there, I was on my way to another job. And as I was leaving, I almost got T-boned, and not a fun T-bone, like automobiles colliding T-boned. and it would not have been pleasant. And somebody blew through a red light, and it was more than a green light for me. It was so much a green light that I paused, because I thought there was a pedestrian standing on the street corner, and I thought that they were going to cross the street. And I waited on them to figure out what they were going to do, and they were taking a while. So it looked like they weren't going to cross. I thought, okay. So basically, my light was more than green. I cannot express to you how green it was. And I moved, and this person just kind of came out of nowhere, and they weren't stopping at all. Like, they didn't even, they even saw me, and they just were not planning on using their brake at all. And I had the presence of mind to not panic. I mean, for I'd say half a second, I thought, oh, this is it, and this is not going to tickle whenever it happens. And something interfered, or someone interfered, and I came through that unscathed. My car didn't get hit, didn't even receive a tap, nothing. But yeah, and I have actually confirmation of who helped me through that one. So because that I either could have been killed or severely maimed. My car would have been totaled for sure, but to be T-boned, like, on the driver's side, that's how bad it was, or how bad it could have been. Like, I could have seen the whites of their eyes if I had looked up directly at their face. But yeah, anyway, so a bunch of things like that were happening all throughout April, which is the other reason why I just was not, I wasn't in a good state of mind, and I think I was absorbing a lot of stuff. So but yeah, that happened. And but I was spared, and so I don't know if it's like, oh, I'm here for a reason, or who knows. But yeah, it was just a lot of series of instances, a lot of them with a vehicle, other things, walking on the street. But yeah, because actually, now that I'm thinking about it, somebody almost ran me over like 2 days after that. I was doing my laundry and crossing the street, or crossing the alleyway, and yeah, this guy was just coming along and saw me and wasn't going to stop, but then he stopped, and yeah, I don't know. I don't know if he was just gonna run me over, but I don't know, it was weird. And yeah, that was April. Yay. What else? April was also an anniversary as far as my mom passing, and it made for some sad weeks, and I still miss her, and I know I always will miss her until it's my time to leave. But yeah, so that added to my sort of like morose feeling during April. And it's not to say that all of April is bad. No. But yeah, there was that. And let's see, what else? Sending out a rest in peace, rest in power, rest in perfection to also to DMX and Black Rob and Shock G, which I know I'm not sharing any new news, but just kind of recapping what things stood out for me in April. And yeah, there's just a lot of general craziness out in the world, and felt like it was like a good 2 weeks of this influx of like weirdness and other people being like angry and upset and just like lashing out for no reason. And then it evened out, but then there'd be like these weird little surges that would pop up. Another big loss that I had was my car. Yeah, unfortunately, there was, long story short, I had to give up a car that I love very, 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 very much. And I won't go into details about that, but it involves the racket that the system runs, and or government agencies, I should say. How that whole thing went down, all of it was weird. A lot of weird stuff went on with that. So, it was just a lot of loss for me, and but there were still some laughs that were sprinkled throughout. Let's see. Oh, here's a random thought that I had. I know I'm just kind of bouncing around all over the place, and don't worry, I won't babble on too much, or at least that's going to be my goal. The random thought that I had was, with global warming as it is, are farmers' almanacs as reliable anymore? And do farmers' almanacs still exist? I haven't heard anybody really talking about them lately, or for several years. I don't know. Let's see. And the other random thought that came by, actually, I was in a conversation with a colleague, and I don't know who brought it up, but we were just talking about the overall, like, vibe of people in general, like, you know, out and about in the world. And as far as, like, wondering where all this is stemming from, the anger, you know. And it was mentioned, like, it might be science. Like, with the ions in the air, that might have something to do with people's moods. And I don't know. I think there may be something to that. Speaking from, I guess, an energy standpoint. I don't know. Kind of makes sense. And another random thing that I heard, and this was actually a lyric in some song that I can't remember the song or the artist. I think if I do hear it again, it's like, oh yeah, that's that song. But the line that stood out for me goes like this: we're all just wearing bodies like a costume until we die. And I don't know, I don't know, it's very poetic, and it just stood out to me. What else? Yeah, just with things opening up, I'm kind of, and I know I cannot be the only one that thinks this, but I kind of miss the downtime and, like, the slower pace of things, so there was time to absorb information and enjoy people, places, and things. And I'm not saying that this was all positive, because there have been a lot of people that have suffered through this pandemic, and a lot of lives that have been lost, and many lives that were affected by being ill, and just there's so much turmoil and upheaval that, but on the other side of that, I did appreciate that people stopped and they smelled the roses, and because I know a lot of people would not have stopped to smell the roses. And unfortunately, people had to be forced to do that. I did not have a chance to fully enjoy all this downtime, and I was able to, enjoy, like, little bits and pieces, like little pockets here and there, but not for anything long term. But I don't know. But I miss that overall feeling that was in the air. People were kinder to each other, and it just, I don't know. It wasn't all about a rat race. It wasn't all about just running yourself into the ground, and for what? And I don't know. Like, I felt I had a chance to catch up and to succeed at things. And it's not like succeeding, like, with a career, but just getting through a to-do list, or being able to do the dishes, or just even if it's succeeding, even doing the mundane things, doing the day-to-day things. And I had a chance to breathe, and I don't feel that way as much anymore. And that might have been what brought on some of that bleh feeling that I was experiencing during April. Let's see, what else? I had a chance to catch up on some reading, and then I got busy and overwhelmed, and then I was forced to get back into it again. Not forced. I only say forced because I was checking out books from the library, and they were due. So I had a due date that was forcing me to like, all right, you checked them out, so read it. Because I hate checking out a book from the library and you get too busy to read it, and it's like, I gotta turn it back in. It's like, well, that was a waste. I know I could always check it back out again, but still. So one of the books that I read, along with what I like to call my fluffy books, and those are the ones that are just like, fun and just like, whatever. And it's like having candy, but it's candy for your eyes. The book is the one that Amber Ruffin and her sister Lacey Lamar wrote. I'm trying to remember. It's like you will not believe the things Lacey heard, or it's something along those lines. The book is great, and just the opening page, it made me laugh, and it is so simple. It is just, and it's it's just hysterical. And, as enjoyable as the book is, I mean, there are some downers in it, only because of the circumstances and situation. And it's plenty of things that I have either witnessed or I have lived through. Much of it are things that I have endured myself. But yeah, it's funny. But that first page, though, was a thing that kind of gave me a push and kind of got me out of that weird, funky goo that I was in, really starting at the beginning of April. And it kind of just gave me that little bit of a push out of the funk. So for that, I do appreciate the book. Other random thing, and I don't know if this is like a thing that people were doing, like, oh, let's look up the lyrics to random songs, and what? I can't believe they said that. But I came across an article that was talking about the real meaning behind Macarena, and Macarena is that song that, when did it come out? Was it in the early 90s, I think? But I'd like to think that everybody is aware of that song, Macarena. By this point, I believe they play it at the majority of sporting events across the nation, if not around the world. But the gist of the lyrics is this woman's boyfriend is drafted and she cheats on him with two friends. And I wasn't aware of the lyrics when they first came out, and I was never that into the song, even, the song just never did anything for me. But the lyrics, on top of it not being wholesome, it's like, well, it's not what we thought it would be. But that whole idea, that concept is not new. I mean, there are plenty of songs that were created in the 60s that had a lot of innuendo or double entendre. But yeah, even though I never really liked the song, I was kind of surprised to learn about the meaning, but yes, but no. Let's see, things to watch. So, I love the Amber Ruffin show ever since it came out in, I think it's like sometime this fall. It's every single episode. I've actually caught the majority of the clips that they have online, and the writing is just so good, so good. The bits are great, and I know how this is going to sound. Maybe it'll sound silly, I don't know, but for a lot of the things that revolve around Black culture, and not just Black culture, but just the social awareness and awareness of people of different ethnicities. They provide such a great breakdown and explanation, and it's done in a way that doesn't talk down to people. And I don't know, I just feel like, for those you remember when you were in school and you had a substitute teacher come in, and maybe that was a day that you just watched a video and something, or even if like your regular teacher just didn't feel like teaching, and they're all right, today's a movie day, or it's a movie about chemistry, or whatever the class was. I feel like that's what they can show in classes in order to educate people. Amber Ruffin's clips that deal with culture should be required viewing, and just pick any one of the episodes that have to deal with culture, anyone's culture, and you'll see what I mean. Because even when she was talking about the horrific events that happened with it was at the nail salon, and that act of hate towards just people that they don't know. Even it doesn't. I don't know. It's all of that is just very senseless. But even just explaining Black history, there was a couple of things that I didn't even know about that I wish that I had learned in high school. Let's see. So yeah, check out any Amber Ruffin show. Also, a Black Lady Sketch Show, Season 2, that is out already, and the trailer for Season 2 is hilarious. Hilarious. Watch it. And if you haven't seen Season 1, catch up. Just watch everything that you can. There are plenty of clips on YouTube you can see if you don't have cable or HBO Max. My favorites are The Basic Ball, The Bad Bitch Club, Courtroom Kiki, and there are others. I could go on and on and on, but just watch it. There are some movies that I caught recently. I was feeling a little bit nostalgic, and I don't even know why they came up. I don't know if my phone just psychically just knows what kind of a mood I'm in. But what was the movie? It's like Gentleman Bronco or Bronco Gentleman. It is just like an awkwardly funny and good movie. It's very I could see it being a cult classic if it isn't already. I think it came out in 2009, but it has Sam Rockwell in it and Jennifer Coolidge, and just with those actors alone, I'm in. And let's see, there's another early 2000s movie that I saw, Stick It. And Stick It, basically it revolves around gymnastics, and I don't know, it was a fun movie. I enjoyed it, and yes, there are some hacky things that are in it, but I enjoyed it. Did I enjoy it more than Bronco Gentleman? Is it Gentleman Bronco? Bronco Gentleman? It's one of the two. If you just put that into a Google or YouTube search, you'll see it. Sam Rockwell, Jennifer Coolidge, and I believe the person that wrote and directed Napoleon Dynamite. No. I think he wrote Napoleon Dynamite, or was he a producer? Anyway, basically, the Napoleon Dynamite people had their hands in on this one, and it is very reminiscent of Napoleon Dynamite, like that aesthetic. But it's funny and it's good. I enjoyed it really. And it's awkward. It is so deliciously awkward. So you gotta see it. See what other Aquamarine? Yeah, Aquamarine. It's a very teen movie, but I watched it much like I would read Twilight. It was kind of fluffy, but it was fun, and it was like candy. It's candy for the eyes. Watched another kids film, something like Mini Boys, or just something. I know Mini Boys is in the title, and I think the kid that was in, was he in Billy Elliot? I think that's the same kid. I don't know. I've seen him in other stuff. And Mia Farrow is in it, and I can't remember anybody else. but a couple of recognizable people. But, and you know what? I think Madonna voiced one of the characters, because it goes into like a animation for half the film. But, because I couldn't place the voice. I'm like, it sounds familiar, but I just can't quite. And yeah, Madonna. Who knew? I didn't know. The other one, now I saw this one around the time that it was released, but I started looking at like video essays on the movie, and Booksmart, the one that's directed by Olivia Wilde. It is, I feel, if it's not a cult classic already, it will be one, and it's just one of those just fun high school movies, and it's a very real life depiction of high school, although the way that they did it's like, oh, I didn't realize that overall all the kids are cool. You know, it's like, yes, there's still all that, the division of this group and that group and that group, but it's like everybody can hang out separately, but nobody's like bullying people like unnecessarily. I mean, yeah, you're always gonna like bust somebody's balls, but you know, that's, everybody should be able to take a good ball busting. So, but yeah, I don't know. Another enjoyable movie. So as far as music is concerned, I'm not going to give you like all the music that I came across, although I might save that for next week's podcast. So, but I am going to give a nice little chunk right now. So here are the music recommendations. So these are, I can't remember if oh no. So the first few I'm going to give you, I came across the video for it on YouTube. So this first one, I don't even know how I came across it, but this is just one of those random like things that were there, and I'm like, oh, let's see what this is. Now I think it's called Yell, Yelle, and the group is called Noir, or is it the group Yell and the song is Noir? Like noir, like film noir, Noir. It's just, I don't know, I find it very cool. It's artistic. It has like an 80s synth sort of vibe about it. It's very French, very just like, honestly, it reminded me of a little chunk of time that I was hanging out with, like the Cirque du Soleil crowd. There's something about it that just, I don't know. And it's not like everybody that was in that particular group that I was working with, but just a couple people, and like their overall sensibilities just reminded me of them. On YouTube as well, there's this musician. His name is Mark Ribeyer, and you can do a search for Your New Morning Alarm. I love it. And so his video for that is only like, it's like less than a minute, and it's like, darn it, I wish it was longer. So I think about like a week or so later, somebody posted, goes by the name of Cybear, Cybear, like cyber, but Cybear. They did a morning alarm extended version. So it is Mark Ribeyer's music, but they extended it to about 10 minutes, maybe a little bit over 10 minutes, and it's glorious. I love it. And it's just, if you love like just that EDM dance, just yeah, get into it. This one I heard on the radio, but I wasn't able to catch it in time. So then I had to go to YouTube in order to find it. It's Crowded House, and the song is called To the Island. I think it's a new release, or something that they released last month, or maybe in March. I'm not sure why I liked it. I think it just spoke to me at the time that I heard it on the radio. Maybe it's nostalgia, but I don't know. But at the time that I heard it, I didn't realize it was Crowded House until the DJs gave the info at the time. So, let's see, what else? Ooh. So, something I came across this morning. I was looking at old footage of Showtime at the Apollo, and I happened to catch it at the right time where they were showing Mary J. Blige's performance of You Remind Me. It is just, I am feeling that from like the intro to, like, the intro itself is tight, and it showcases the dancers, and I believe, I'm not too sure if all of them were involved, but I think one or two of them were part of the Fly Girls on In Living Color, which is that sketch show that aired, was on Fox, the Fox network, like back in the 90s, I think early 90s. And so the dancers, it's just like, oh yeah, that's right, because I just would have, like, loved to have been a backup dancer, and I know, like, maybe that's not an aspiration for a lot of people, but for me, I wanted to be a dancer, and so I was able to see some of those dreams come true, but they were still there. So, but let's see, so it's the dancers and them dancing, and just like the fashion, the iconic Apollo Theater, Mary J. Blige just being the queen that she is, and just singing, just like, everything about it, and like, even like what Mary's wearing, and how she like just tucked her slacks to the Jodeci boots, and just the Malcolm X shirts. Yeah, I just, let's see. Well, because of the passing of Shock G, I was thinking of, like, some of my favorites from Digital Underground. And I believe this one was on Sex Packets. This one's my favorite. Like, Humpty Dance, it's like, I was alright with it, after I heard it, like, once or twice, but then after, it's such an overplayed song. But my favorite is Good Thing We're Rappin'. Excuse me, I'm like going through puberty. Good Thing We're Rappin'. So that's my favorite. Along with the one that features Tupac, I Get Around. Oh, Whoa, by Black Rob. Yeah, that one it will never, ever, ever get old for me. So going back with some nostalgia, Waltz Number 2 by Elliott Smith. I can't remember, I think that's like a mid-90s song. Yeah, 94. Yeah. I don't know, just something about it. I don't know what it is. It's just, I think maybe because it is a waltz and it's just very calming. There's something about it. I don't know what it is. Same with The Middle by Jimmy Eat World. I think it just, I don't know, I hear it and it just makes me feel a little bit better. Don't know why. It just does. Probably the lyrics. But it's like Jimmy Eat World is just not, it's not like that's my go-to band, but again, I love music. Leave the Door Open, Bruno Mars, Anderson .Paak. It has that nice soulful, I think they were going for like a early 90s R&B feel, maybe even late 80s. Yeah, late 80s, early 90s R&B, I think. Yeah, very soulful. You Can Never Tell, Chuck Berry. It's very iconic because it's Chuck Berry, but also because it was used so much for that Pulp Fiction era time. And it's yeah, you'll know the song when you hear it. Rip It Up, Little Richard, 1957. And I don't know, there's something about that song, and I don't know what it is that just speaks out. Like, why? I don't know. I'm sure if I did a deeper dive into music history, I'd know why that song was significant. I don't know if it just had like a bunch of number ones, or it went gold, or I don't know, but there's something about that song, trivia-wise, that I feel like I should know, but I don't know what it is. I don't know if that was his debut on a certain TV show, and that was a song that he did. If that song, if he was like banned from singing that song, or he was gonna get booted out of someplace if he sang that song, if he changed the lyrics to make it more radio friendly, and the original lyrics was something else. I don't know. Like, instead of like rip it up, it was going to be F it up, I don't know. But so that's my music recommendations for now, and I am going to just give like a deluge of them next week, so be prepared for it. But it's going to be good stuff, really, really good stuff, because I don't share bad music. But then again, music is music, and you either enjoy it or you don't. I happen to enjoy it. So with that, I do want to thank you for sticking around from podcast to podcast, or just dipping in every once in a while. And I really do appreciate it. And thank you for supporting me, sticking by, and just listening to me ramble on. And because, I don't have things figured out. I don't know if I ever will. And I hope I don't. Because it kind of gives you something to learn. Because we should always be learning something new every day. And with that, I'm going to say thank you, enjoy your golden hour, and be kind to yourself and each other. Ciao.